Hi, and welcome to our instructional video that is designed to make you a smarter gambler. My name is Steve Borey, and I'm the author of the American Casino Guide, the #1 best-selling book in the U.S. on the subject of casino gambling and travel, and the only book that comes with over $1,000 in casino coupons. If you want to know more about our book, be sure to visit our website at americancasinoguide.com. And if you have a smartphone or tablet, be sure to download our free app. Just go to the App Store or the Google Play Store and search for American Casino Guide. In this video, American Casino Guide Associate Editor Matt Borey learns how to count cards at the Blackjack Apprenticeship training course in Las Vegas. Matt is a novice player who attended the course to learn about card counting from former professional blackjack players and to see if he wanted to pursue it further. Matt explains what the course was like and his thoughts on what he learned. Following that, there is an interview with American Casino Guide author Steve Borey and Colin Jones, who is a co-founder of the Blackjack Apprenticeship training course.
Hi, I'm Matt Borey, Associate Editor of the American Casino Guide, and in January 2015, I had the chance to attend the Blackjack Apprenticeship training course in Las Vegas. This is a course designed by Ben Crawford and Colin Jones, two former professional blackjack players who from 2006 to 2009 ran a card-counting team that won millions of dollars. Their team was very unique because it consisted primarily of members of their church, and a documentary was made about their exploits. The movie was called Holy Rollers, the true story of card-counting Christians, and it's currently available on Netflix as well as DVD. After several years of success, they decided to disband the team, but they're both still active in the training of new players and teaching them how to become better at the game of blackjack with their website blackjackapprenticeship.com. Several times a year, they also hold a workshop for players to help them hone their card-counting skills to gain an advantage over the casino. I was invited to take the beginner's course, and I was eager to attend because I was familiar with the concept of counting cards, but I didn't really know the details of how you put it into use in a casino. Plus, I know several professional card counters, and I always wondered what their jobs entailed. So what follows is a video showing a bit of what I learned at the Blackjack Apprenticeship training program and my thoughts about the course. Following that is an interview that my dad, Steve Borey, did with Colin Jones about the course and his goals for the students. To start off, they handed out booklets that included notes of what would be discussed during the class, as well as basic strategy charts and also index numbers. Occasionally, when the count gets very high or very low, you need to deviate from basic strategy, and the index numbers tell you when and if you need to do this. After that, we had to introduce ourselves. We had to say our name, where we were from, and why we were taking the course. A lot of the people taking the course said that they didn't like their current jobs and wanted to quit them and count cards for a living. I've always heard that this is a very unrealistic goal, and that thought was more or less echoed by Ben and Colin. After we introduced ourselves, Ben and Colin told us their story. They told us how they started with just the two of them and a few $1,000s and ended up with a team of over 20 people winning millions of dollars in the casinos. The next thing we did was go over the agenda for the day, which was very full. The course lasted a full 8 hours. They then went on to explain EV, which is also known as expected value, and that is how card counters determine how much money they should be making throughout the day. Another thing they discussed was that there's two types of blackjack players, those that play for fun and those that play to make money, and we had to decide which of those we are going to be. They said that professional players got their fun out of making money, whereas most people in a casino just play for fun. Another thing they went over was they gave us a few tips on how to practice at home before we went into the casino to bet any real money. Then they went over what I thought was the most important thing of the day, that you should never gamble with money that you cannot afford to lose financially or mentally. The next part of the course was the first dealing session. This is when we all sat down on an actual blackjack table and they dealt out cards, gave us chips, and we tested out what we knew. The first thing Colin went over in this dealing session was how to calculate the running count and the true count.
And this is a process that we will do every single hand. And we want you guys to leave knowing this process, which is running, divisor, true. After every single hand, I'm going to say running, and you'll say what the running count is. So let's say the running count is 6. And then divisor, that means how many decks are left. Let's say it's 5. So what's your true count? If your running is 6 and your divisor is 5. 1.
Next, he explained how we should change our bets based on the true count.
So if you have a true 1, you should bet 2 chips. If you have a true 2, you should bet what? 3 chips. True 3, you'd bet 4 chips. True 4. So true 4, you'd bet 5 chips. And then true 5 and above, you'd bet 6 chips. So this would be the highest you need to bet. You don't need to keep going up if we get above a true 5. Okay? So whatever the true count is, you're going to have one more unit than the true count. This isn't really what you might use while playing in a casino, but this will be a good way to find out how your true count, what you think the true count is.
Before I took this course, one thing I didn't know was when you should actually start counting cards. I always thought that you should start as soon as the dealer deals the first card. But what they explained to me was it's much easier to wait until the dealer has given everyone their first card, and once he deals the first person their second card, that is when you should start counting. After that was explained to me, it made it so much easier to be able to keep track of what the running count was and the divisor and getting the true count. The part that I found the most difficult, actually, was estimating how many decks were in the discard tray. I think I was wrong pretty much every time they told us to guess all day. After the first dealing session, Colin went over a few ways to maximize your EV, or expected value, when playing blackjack. Some of those things included the bet spread, meaning how low to make your bet when the count is low, or how high you should make your bet when the count's high. Another thing he went over was the initial house edge of the game.
What are some things that affect the casino's edge? Penetration, good. What else?
Stand on soft 17.
The rules, yeah. Stand or hitting soft 17. Yep, if you can double after split, resplit, all those things. Number of decks.
The most important thing they went over to maximize your EV is penetration, or how far back the dealer puts the cut card. It's better to go further back because the further back that the cut card is, the more you know about the remaining cards in the deck. The most interesting part of the day was when we got a visit from Tommy Highland, one of the most successful blackjack players of all time. Tommy's been running card counting teams since the early 80s, and they've won millions of dollars. Unfortunately, he did not want us videotaping him, so we don't have any footage of that. But he did answer any questions that anyone had, and told us some very interesting stories. For instance, he had been kicked out of the casinos in Atlantic City so many times that he went during Christmas dressed as Santa Claus to try and count cards, to disguise himself, but he ended up getting kicked out anyways. After that, they went over a few more things, such as how to build a blackjack team and how to camouflage yourself while you're in a casino. But we had to leave a little early, so again, we didn't get to see that. A lot of people in the course with me said that they wanted to become professional card counters and play blackjack for a living. I honestly think that they could do that with all the information that we learned in this course. Me, on the other hand, I just thought that I could play blackjack on the side and count cards and make a little bit extra money. But after realizing how much time and effort I would have to put into it to do it correctly, I'm just not sure it was worth it for me. For those who are interested, make sure you stay tuned for an interview between my dad, Steve Borey, and Colin Jones about some goals Colin has for his students in the course, and more information for anyone interested in taking it.
Colin, you and Ben have been involved in blackjack for a while now. Can you explain how this all started?
Yeah, I think I was right out of college, 22 years old, and Ben had read some book about how to make $100,000 a year gambling, and it had a 3-page section on card counting, and thought that sounded doable. He told me about it. We bought Stanford Wong's books, and the rest. And we started small, a couple $1,000, and grew it into, at one point, we had a team with $1 million bankroll, and played every level in between.
Right, and how many people were on your team? You obviously you were successful. Did you have a lot of people on your team?
Yeah, I would say probably 40 or 50 people cycled through, but it was really kind of a core of about 5 to 10 people that kind of made most of the money and were on it, for most of the time.
All right, well, today we're here in Las Vegas at one of your blackjack boot camps.
Yep.
And my son Matt is taking your boot camp to learn to be a better blackjack player.
Yeah.
Can you explain what's involved in this?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do this about 3 times a year, and we take about 10 people, and we want people that have already been through our training online and have gotten as far as they can on their own, but we want to help people get, as to the next level, whatever that means. And one of the things we learned when we were training is you don't know what you don't know. So, we thought we were good at blackjack, and what we actually were, Ben was involved with another card counting team, and they kind of nosed him at a casino and said, hey, this kid's pretty good, but they said, hey, would you be involved in doing some trips with us? And so he had to go through this rigorous training process, and he failed their initial test outs, and he thought he was good, but he wasn't as good as he could be. That was the same experience I had. And so, there's a lot of people that it's hard to train yourself at something. It would be hard to become great at an instrument without some instruction or someone saying, hey, you're doing these things wrong here. So the boot camp is our opportunity to do that. And we've had quite a number of people come through them that are now playing professionally or as a hobby or just for fun.
Now, is the boot camp directed at the novice player, or is it directed at a more advanced player?
We're much more excited about someone that wants to do this to make money. There's always a mixed group of people that show up, and the information is valuable, whether you're novice or professional, but we're most excited about helping people actually beat the casino.
And what would you say is the biggest problem of the students that you have to come to your classes? There's one thing that you find you focus on the most that they're lacking in?
Yeah, there's a couple things. One is how to think about card counting. And a lot of people, there's a very different way that we think than a gambler thinks. And helping people think differently about the game and think differently about how they approach the game, that's the first hurdle.
As an advanced player, the EV is really all that matters. And it's not as exciting, unfortunately. We're talking 50 cents a hand, $1 a hand, $2 a hand, but when you play 60 hands an hour, it's $120 an hour. So it's a different way of thinking, but you got to get out of just like seeing the bets and seeing the amount of money you walk in a casino with, the amount of money you walk out of a casino with, and start to these principles that Colin's teaching. It's more of a way to think than just the specific examples. So for most people, especially if you have casino experience, you need to really yank your head out of that old way of thinking and just see the entire casino differently.
The second is just the actual skills. And it takes people a lot more time and practice than they expect. And people think they're pretty good, and then, they're really not all that good. And, it's not as hard as becoming a doctor or a lawyer or a computer programmer, but it's not something that you can just practice for a couple hours and say, all right, I'm ready to go beat the casino. You actually really have to master some skills. And so I think the boot camp really helps people realize, okay, I put some work in, but I still have this far to go.
Now, would you say that all of the students that take your class are going to go on to be successful card counters?
No.
Okay, well then maybe you could explain what problems are involved that they don't do that.
Yeah, well, one of the things we talk about is why people are getting into it. And a lot of people, they like playing blackjack and they want to, play it better. I would say that person will, maybe they'll lose less money at a casino, and they might get to a point where they break even, but actually being what I would say successful at it, takes a unique person that's really willing to put in the amount of time and training it takes.
All right, well, if people want to learn more about your Blackjack boot camp as well as your other programs that you have for people to become better blackjack players, where would they do that?
You can find all that stuff on our website, blackjackapprenticeship.com. And, we really have a growing community of card counters. Every step we have, on our forum, we have plenty of professionals as well as people that are learning. That's where you can find out everything. We have a weekly newsletter for free that people can get on the email list, and we share, stories and casino news and recent card counting developments and all that stuff.
All right. Colin Jones, thank you very much for spending time with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Don't forget that you can see more of our educational gambling videos on our YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com/American Casino Guide.